You sexy, beautiful hip cats and dolls out there in YouTube land. I'm the level grinding junkie known as AntiHeroDrink. Thank you for tuning in. Why have people not played Operation Darkness? Seriously, either this game is not heard of by gamers, that a small percentage of gamers who played this game and heard of it hate it to death, or even smaller percentage of gamers who played this game literally hate this game. This game is interesting, it's fun, and it actually tries some interesting new aspects to gaming. Yet everybody hates this game. It's either I hear people talk about it's too hardcore, it's too hard to actually get into. It's a tech-based combat game that actually tells you if your characters die, they're dead throughout the whole entire game. That there is no reviving them, and that there's only one character that can revive characters. So yes, there's no items, there's no potions, there's no Phoenix down that's going to magically revive your characters. Only one character can do it. And who can do it? Herbert West. And that's where I like glee at this game. They actually implement Herbert West as your only designated reviving healing type character because he has so much experience with necromancy and whatnot. That I just thought that was funny and hilarious. And me and my friends were just back and forth laughing at that. And it's a cool aspect. A lot of these characters are actually ripped from fiction or from history. You have Jack the Ripper in your party. You have Cordelia, who's loosely based around, what is it, Firestarter. You have a character based around RoboCop, actually, who joins your party. And that's really cool. I mean, this is a game set in World War II where you're fighting werewolves, vampires, skeletons, zombies, and of course, even Adolf Hitler, who uses the Spear of Longevity to revive his teammates. And just the fact that they even incorporated that Hitler had the Spear of Jesus, the Spear of Longevity, and he was using it to reanimate his fallen teammates, I was just like, not only was that historically accurate, that was pretty interesting and balls to the wall for an RPG. I mean, we play a lot of RPGs, right? We play a lot of RPGs, and they're all in these fantasy settings, and they're so removed from the world, they're so removed from reality. And this is one of those rare RPGs that actually tries to go implement a reality based upon fantasy. It tries to go implement the two subject matters into an RPG. And a lot of people say, well, it sounds good on paper, but the execution wasn't great. The combat is hard, and I get it, it is arduous. I hated this game because I had battles that took me weeks and even months on end to actually complete because the combat is really that hard. You're just fighting waves upon waves of enemies. But when I look back on it, I still respect it. It really shows you the grittiness of the combat that they were actually facing during that time. Combat in that game is so bad. When you're running out of ammo, you start scavenging through enemies' corpses to pick up their guns, to pick up their ammo, to just use anything or cling onto anything so you can actually still survive. Like I said, if a character dies, they're dead throughout the whole entire game and they're never mentioned again. And that's really what it was like during that time. That's what it's like during war in general. It's really hard. You're fighting to survive. And in this game, it shows that quite well. Also, and on top of that, also, as I said, I really do like the fact that a lot of characters come from actual references of literature and fiction like that. I forgot to just mention one character. You also have Frankenstein join your party, and that's pretty cool. And he actually has a subplot that actually ties into the story of the game. The only thing that I can go say in regards of this game that did annoy me, and I can understand why it would annoy other players, is that there are no dungeons. There are designated free missions you can go to where you can go fight a set group of enemies, but once you go to set free mission, it's over and you can never go to it again unless you go get the Van Helsing report. And there are two things, the legendary swords and the Van Helsing report. But these are only on designated enemies in combat, but they're never designated on which enemy they're on. So you have to search through every single body in the later points of the game on top of arduous combat and making sure everybody lives. So yes, on that respect, the game really pushes you to your fucking limits to get all this done. But it's still not a bad game. It's still something that I would definitely recommend people should play. If you're an RPG player looking for something new and exciting to play, or if you're an RPG player who's never heard of this game, then this is definitely something I say you should pick up. Anyway, as closing, I'm the Anti-Hero Drink here at RPG Mayhem, dishing out the good news of RPG video games and gaming in general. Peace, sayonara, stay sexy, you beautiful hip cats and dolls out there. Later.
What the hell are those things? Interesting. I wasn't aware the Germans possessed the technology to reanimate corpses. They must have discovered a way to control the souls of the dead.
Control the souls of the dead? That's ridiculous.
On the contrary, it's really not that uncommon at all. In the old days, they called it black magic. You see, the process of full resurrection requires many souls to perform, but restoring a dead body to life just temporarily really isn't that complicated. The physics behind it are quite rational, I assure you. It's just that it's all rather, well, inhumane. You're off your rocker, mate.